Hi, boys and girls. Thank you for checking in today. We are going to talk about our vowel sounds today and add another sound that maybe some of you might know can be a vowel sound and some of you might not know. So let's jump in and talk about the vowels we do know. We know that there are 5 vowels, and for every word there is a vowel, A, E, I, O, U. So every single word that we read and write has to have at least one vowel to make it a real word. And we call the vowels the glue that hold all the other letters together. So let's look. We have A, and it has 2 sounds, A and A. We have E that has 2 sounds, E and E. I has 2 sounds, I and I. O has 2 sounds, A and O. And lastly, U has 2 sounds, and U. So listen to this little jingle. For every word there is a vowel, A, E, I, O, U. Your turn. For every word there is a vowel, A, E, I, O, U. Okay? And sometimes Y. Sometimes Y. Now, friends, some of you already know that Y can sometimes make the sound of a vowel, but some of us might not know that information. So let's talk about that. This letter here, Y, is so tricky because it can have a lot of different sounds. When you see Y at the beginning of the word, it has a hard sound, Y, like yellow, Y, Y. However, my friends, when we see a Y at the end of a word, like in the word my, this word is my. Now I want you to listen. What do you hear the Y saying in the word my? I. Interesting. I heard a long I sound, my. But it really is a Y. Let's look at a few more and see. We have this word here. Full I. Fly. What is the Y saying? It is saying I again. So my friends, the crazy thing about this Y is when it's at the end of a word, it might take the sound of an I or an E. Okay, so let's think about a couple words here. I'm going to write down behind, and then we're going to practice reading them with the 2 different sounds that Y might say at the end. All right, now you can see some words behind me that have Y as an ending sound. Now remember, the 2 most common sounds that it will take is an E, long E, or a long I at the end of a word. Let's try both sounds and see which word makes sense. All right, let's try the E sound first. B-E, B. Now, friends, that is a word that we know, but I know that the word be is spelled B-E. It's an open syllable. So let's try the other sound, the I. B-I, bye. That could be the word buy. Let's try another. Let's try E sound first. E, me. Well, wait a minute. I know that the word me is another open syllable spelled M-E. So let's try the other sound. I, my. What do you think? Is that a word that we know? It sure is. Buy and my. And I noticed both of those ended with the sound I. Let's try another, and I'm going to try the I sound first. I have my S blend, I, sky, like the sky outside. And that's a word that we do know. Very nice. I'm noticing that by, my, and sky all have one syllable, by. my sky. And they all end with that I sound. So I'm wondering if that might be a pattern that we can look for. Let's read our next row and see what we figure out. We have another S-blend, sp, I, spy. And that one says the I sound as well. How many syllables are in the word spy? Spy has 1. Let's try this word here. We know this digraph says shh, shh, I, shy. So shy has how many syllables? Shy. 1 syllable, and it also ends with the I sound. So friends, most of the time if you see a short word that only has 1 syllable with a Y at the end, it's going to make the I sound. Now there might be some rule breakers, but that will be most of the time. Let's try some bigger words and see if they also make the I sound. Okay? Help me stretch out. Z, I. Fuzz eye. Doesn't make sense to me. What other sound could we try for the Y at the end? We could try long E. All right, let's stretch it out. Z, E. Fuzzy. Does that make more sense to you? It does to me as well. Fuzzy. Let's clap. How many syllables are in the word fuzzy? Fuzzy. 2. Interesting. So 2 syllables, fuzzy, ended with the E sound. And 1 syllable, sky, ended with the I sound. Let's try another. B, A, D, I. Badai. That's kind of silly. Let's try the other sound. B, A, D, E. Body. That is a real word, like my body. Help me clap. How many syllables are in the word body? Body. 2 syllables. And what is the Y saying at the end in body? It has the long E sound. Beautiful. Let's try our last word and see what we notice. Stretch it out with me. B-I-O-I. Billi. That doesn't make sense to my brain. Let's try our other sound. B-I-O-E. Billy. That's a word that I know, just like Mr. Billy. Let's clap his name and see how many syllables are in Billy. Ready? Billy. 2. Oh my goodness. So friends, every time that we have 2 syllables, we hear the sound E at the end. And every time that we just have 1 syllable, we hear the sound I at the end. My challenge for you this week is while you're reading your stories in your books to notice how many words you can find that end with a Y, and I wonder if they follow this rule. 2 syllables or more ending makes the E sound, and 1 syllable makes the I sound. All right, happy reading. I can't wait to see what you discover.